So on this day in 1983, an Arsenal striker created a post-war goal-scoring record. In this video, I look back on that day. Hello, I'm Richard and welcome back to my channel over and over again, which features everything to do with Arsenal. Now in this video, I just want to look back on this day in 1983, a famous day, of course, in Arsenal's history where striker Tony Woodcock set a post-war goal-scoring record by scoring 5 goals in a 6-2 victory away at Aston Villa. Just before I get into all that, I just want to make sure that you are subscribing to my channel. If you like what I do, please click the subscribe button. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, as well as it does help it to grow. And if you've got any comments at all about this match, if you was there that day, any memories that you have, please drop them in a box, or anything at all to do with Arsenal. It was great to hear from you guys as well. So on this day then, the 29th of October 1983, Arsenal travelled up to Villa Park for a Division 1 game, and it proved to be quite a famous game in the end, in what was not a great period in the club's history. Now, back in 1983, of course, football seemed a lot more simple then. You know, it was all 4-4-2. You could turn up on the day and pay at the turnstiles, and I don't know, it just seemed to be a lot more innocent times, I guess. Now, in the summer of 1983 saw a lot of changes at Arsenal. There was a lot of big hopes that the club were moving forward after a few years in the doldrums, really. David Dean had joined the board that summer, and of course over the next 20 years or so he would bring some great success to the club, although it would take a little bit longer than this. Now, we'd also bought a big new signing in that summer, of course, Charlie Nicholas, a striker from Celtic who scored 52 goals the season before, much anticipated arrival. And I say there were big hopes that Arsenal could go on and have a great season. Unfortunately, the game at Villa Park was our 11th game, in the league that season. Of the previous 10, we'd won 5 and lost 5, and we're sitting in 12th place in the table. So things hadn't gone too well. And in fact, this was going to be the beginning of the end for manager Terry Neal. And he was sacked, unfortunately, before Christmas. In terms of Tony Woodcock himself, he had joined the club the previous summer, 1982, for £500,000 from Cologne in Germany. He began his career, of course, at Nottingham Forest in the late 1970s, had a lot of success under Brian Clough, won the First Division title in 1978, the European Cup in 1979. He'd also won 2 League Cups as well, and he did win the Young Player of the Year award in 1978. He then spent 3 successful years in Germany with Cologne before coming back to England to join Arsenal following the 1982 World Cup. Now, in his first season at Arsenal, he'd scored 21 goals, top scorer, and already had developed a real good relationship with the fans. This particular season, 1983-84, he'd had a bit of an injury problem in the start of the season, but he had come back the week before against Nottingham Forest with 2 goals in a 4-1 victory. But I don't think any of us who went up to Villa Park on this day, the 29th of October, imagined what was about to happen. Now, the Arsenal team that day that took the field out at Villa Park, it was Pat Jennings in goal, of course, a fantastic goalkeeper for us. The back four, right back was Colin Hill. I don't know if anyone remembers him. He didn't have a great Arsenal career, but he was a regular this particular season at right back. The centre-backs were David O'Leary and Chris White. And left back was, of course, the England international Kenny Sansom, of course, fantastic player he was. In midfield, it was basically a midfield 3, which was maybe quite unusual at the time. Stuart Robson, Paul Davis and Graham Ricks. And then it was almost a front 3 as well, with Charlie Nicholas, Tony Woodcock, as I said, and Alan Sunderland. So it was quite an attacking, adventurous Arsenal lineup, considering it was Terry Neal and Don Howe in charge, who were both noted for the defensive qualities as coaches. Now, the Aston Villa side, of course, if you remember, they'd actually won the European Cup, hadn't they, back in 1982. So this was a good period for Aston Villa, actually. But this perhaps wasn't their best team, if we're honest, from that era, was it? They'd lost a few players. But in goal was Nigel Spinker, of course, made his name, didn't he, in that final. Their back four was Mark Jones, Alan Evans, Gary Williams and Brendan Ormsby. I'm not sure if too many of them names ring a bell. I think Alan Evans, of course, is probably the most famous one out of those. Their midfield, on the wing, they had Tony Morley, of course, famous player he was. In centre midfield, actually, Steve McMahon, of course, later on would have quite a lot to say about Arsenal, wouldn't he? Dennis Mortimer and Des Bremner. And up front for Aston Villa that day was Mark Walters and Peter Wiv. Of course, Peter Wiv had actually played at Nottingham Forest as well, didn't he? With Tony Woodcock. Now, the game was just an incredible start to the game. Within 5 minutes, Tony Woodcock had scored his first goal to put us 1-0 up. A great pass from Graham Ricks. And then 12 minutes in, Woodcock had scored again, his second chance of the game. This was a header, put us 2-0 up. And it was like, wow, what's going on here? Then there was a flurry of goals, actually, just before half-time. Tony Woodcock completed his hat-trick in the 37th minute. Fantastic it was. A nice little 1-2 he played with Charlie Nicholas before finishing it for his hat-trick. Almost immediately, Tony Morley pulled a goal back for Aston Villa to make it 3-1. But then, again, straight from the kickoff, Woodcock scored his fourth in the 39th minute. It was a rebound he tucked away at the second attempt to make it 4-1 at half-time. And Tony Woodcock, with 4 chances, had scored 4 goals. Now, Arsenal's record for goals in one match was actually set in 1937, also at Villa Park, by Ted Drake. He'd scored 7 goals when Arsenal had won 7-1. And obviously at half-time, there was talk of could Tony Woodcock equal or beat that record after the great first half he'd had. That expectation rose even further just 4 minutes into the second half when Woodcock scored again his 5th goal to make it 5-1. And there was still 40-odd minutes of the game still to play. Unfortunately, that proved to be the last goal Woodcock scored in this game. Villa did get a second with a penalty from Alan Evans after 67 minutes. And then a couple of minutes from time, Arsenal did score again. It wasn't Woodcock this time. It was substitute Brian McDermott who scored to make it 6-2. But a 5-goal haul was a post-war record, not only for Arsenal, but also for one player in the top division. Now, strangely enough, on the same day at Anfield, Liverpool beat Luton 6-0. And Ian Rush actually scored 5 as well. It hadn't been done since before the war. And on the same day, 2 players both did it on exactly the same day, which was quite strange. But as Tony Woodcock said, his 5 goals were away from home, whereas Ian Rush's were at home. So his performance was far superior, of course, as we knew anyway. Of course, since then, actually, that record has not been beaten. Nobody scored more than 5 goals in a game. It's been equalled a few times. I think Andy Cole did it, didn't he, for Manchester United against Ipswich. I think Alan Shearer scored 5, didn't he, for Newcastle one time. I think that might have been against Sheffield Wednesday. I think, was it Berbatov scored 5 in one game. Jermaine Defoe, of course, did as well. And I think Sergio Aguero as well. But nobody's actually scored more than 5. So this record from Tony Woodcock actually remains still to this day the post-war record of goals in one match, or certainly equal to that anyway. So it was a fantastic achievement. And it came at a time of much change for Arsenal. Despite that great result, and also on the back of the Nottingham Forest win the week before, unfortunately, Arsenal would lose 5 of their next 6 matches. And before Christmas, Terry Neal was sacked with Arsenal 18th in the First Division table. Don Howe took over, of course. We had a bit of a revival and finished 6th, but it wasn't, of course, until a couple of years later, the arrival of George Graham, that Arsenal would go on to have great success. Of course, Tony Woodcock, unfortunately, had left the club by then. He went back to Germany, back to Cologne again after leaving Arsenal in 1986. So that's that little video there. I just thought I'd just look back on what was a great day, a great achievement as well for Tony Woodcock, who at that time was probably my favourite Arsenal player. I know Charlie Nicholas had come in and everybody loved him, of course. So I love Charlie as well. But for me, Tony Woodcock was a real deal. Fantastic player, great striker for the club. He finished top scorer in all his 4 seasons at the club. So fantastic player. If you were there that day, please drop your comments in the box about the day. And I can remember the train journey home. You know, there was a lot of Arsenal fans on the train singing and stuff like that. It was a great day. And obviously a great achievement for who was my favourite player at that time. So that's it then. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for supporting the channel. I've got loads of great stuff coming up actually. Tonight I'm doing a live watch along of the Dundalk game in the Europa League. I'm joined by Andrew from Dial Square to Where. I'll be going live about 10 to 8 so we can have a little build up to the kickoff and then the game as well. And then tomorrow night on Friday, I'm joined by a Manchester United fan, Devil in the Detail. He's coming on the channel at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. We're going to preview the Manchester United against Arsenal game, get a Manchester United perspective as well. I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be very interesting. So that'll be a good show tomorrow at 7 o'clock as well. So join me for that as well. And also as well, I will be putting out a preview video of the Man United game And also as well, there'll be some coverage of that on Sunday. I'm not sure if I'll be doing a watch along yet or if I'll be appearing on another one, but there'll definitely be coverage of that game. And also as well, of course, tomorrow I'll be reviewing the Dundalk game as well on a video. So it's busy times. So loads to look forward to on the channel. So I say, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so you don't miss any of it. So thanks for your support. Thanks for watching this video. Please drop your comments in the box about this particular game or anything else to do with Arsenal. And of course, in the meantime, as always, come on, you Gunners!